This is the MRA, a cult of personality, and this is the MRA's open class, the only place where a mechanic can pull as much horsepower as their heart desires. Run times at the 60-foot mark that leave top drag racers scratching their head. Up next, the open class opens up at transfer. Welcome to the 143rd Transfer Harvest Home Fair. This event has been going on since 1877, but back in 1877, they certainly didn't have anything like this. You're looking at 150 feet of tilled loam, a little bit of track grooming going on right now to get this pit ready for the open class. If you joined us before, you saw the Outlaw Pro Stocks, and then last time out, you saw the modified class engines up in the 800 to 900 plus cubic inch range. Well, these engines are roughly around 500 to 600 cubic inches, but they run the blower motors, and they can certainly get the horsepower to this surface. It's about 1 foot to 6 inches deep, and it's not easy to get horsepower into this track. They're going to be using the cut tires. If you don't know what a cut tire is, it's a DOT bogger tire, cut paper thin with a real meaty tread. We're going to bring our first pair to the line immediately. Paul Palmer out of Summer Duck, Virginia, driving the show. Paul running the car owned by Mike and Peggy Donahue. He's going to go side by side with another powerhouse, the father of the father-son Harrison Logging Race, team out of Grenada, Mississippi. That's never enough. Kevin Harrison running the Aussie brand of horsepower over there. That's a 527 cubic inch Noonan race engine. He's up next to a 526 cubic inch Hemi, putting out anywhere between 2,500 and 3,000 horsepower. We'll see if they can get all that horsepower into this track. We've had a couple of classes, as you may have seen in earlier coverage, go down this track. The starting line appears to maybe be going away as they dig down below this topsoil and get into the clay base underneath. We'll see what they have. Blistering pair of runs, and look at that, we're already down into the sub 2 second range on the right-hand lane. Harrison at 1.9 and change. Palmer not doing too bad. He was almost down there as well at a 2:02. So it looks like the track's still holding a bit of horsepower, but I can guarantee you we're going to get some runs faster than that before the night is over. Watch them. Both of them getting off the line real well. Look like they're hooking up a little bit off to the right-hand side there for Kevin Harrison. And it gets a little bit sketchy down there in the shutdown area. You can see the tree line comes up awfully quick. Our end zone camera is actually at a lone tree that's just out from the main tree line because we figured nobody's going to drive straight for that tree down there in the end zone. Harrison getting a little sidestep there with the rear end common when they try to shut these cars down. As I've said before, you make your money going through the timing lights. You can lose a lot of money in the shutdown area. That's where this tends to get real interesting. Up next, a very strong runner in Joel Coolidge. This is Nightmare. We saw Joel before in the modified class running the Trouble machine. He and his son field 2 cars, one in the modified, one here in the open class. He's going to go side by side with the guy we saw get a big win, set a track record down in Sanford, North Carolina at the Blown Alcohol Madness event hosted by Daryl Jones, the late great. That's Greg Monsmith right there. Greg with that 520. Brad Anderson Hemi there with the 1871 blower up on top, going side by side with the 500 cubic inch Alan Johnson Performance engine, 1471 blower on that one. 2 very strong machines in this class. Already had 2 cars down the lane. They were able to get the horsepower to hook up. We'll see if these 2 can do the same. Little issue for both. Coolidge taking a little bit of a ride right there in the shutdown. A 1.9043 second run will take the top spot. Monsmith with problems on the run. Not sure, it looked like something went away at about half track on Monsmith's vehicle. He shut it down very quickly. Get another look at it. Watch Coolidge pick up the front tires and then set them back down. Monsmith did also. He set them down real hard. Not sure if the tires broke loose or what. Shoots out on Coolidge's car. He definitely needed it. But, man, what a start to the class. 4 cars down the track, 2 in each lane, and they've all been super fast. And Monsmith, if he can get that car to hook up, could be a class champion here tonight. One more look at it from the end zone. Solid run. You got to tip your hat, by the way, to Joel Coolidge. Keeping it in bounds. He took out the cone there that marks where the ditch starts, and you can see him actually splashing a little water as he gets into it. We're not done yet, though. We are just getting started. More to go here in the open class when we come back to the Transfer Harvest Home Fair here in the Keystone State. Stay with us.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date show, ticket info, and a wide selection of photo and video galleries, visit monstersmonthly.com. And by RPM Army, featuring action-packed content from around the web. Visit rpmarmy.com, your source for motorsports on the go. This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Crush This. For an inside look at the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, available on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube.
Welcome back to the 143rd edition of the Transfer Harvest Home Fair here in Transfer, Pennsylvania, in the western part of the Keystone State. Beautiful country out here in the Shenango River Valley. And I guarantee you, when this event was founded in 1877, the founders never would have dreamed that vehicles like this would be on the opposite side of that midway, but they are packing the fans in here this evening for the open class, the MRA right now. Billy Fling, reality check. Billy out of Sunbury, Ohio. Big Hemi-powered machine built by Brasket Race Cars. Billy tunes the engine himself. His crew is made up of his 2 brothers and a family friend, Dan. And says a friend at home, Brian, helps him with the chassis. Across the track from him, Dale Ellenberger and the legendary Touch of Madness. Dale out of Leon, West Virginia, with that screw-blown 506 cubic inch Hemi. An A980 Whipple supercharger. Up on top, we will see who can get the power to the track the quickest, get down the track the fastest. Ellenberger leaves first. But this is a perfect example of what happens when you race against the clock. A red light in the left lane. 1.8813 to take the top spot for reality check. And Billy Fling, what a run. For the little white machine out of the Buckeye State. Watch him again. The horns of exhaust coming out of the engine. Again, Ellenberger left first, but he picked the front end up and he left before the light was green. So that run was for naught, but he definitely put some horsepower into the track. So when he comes back for session 2, he's going to be one to watch. We'll watch Fling again. He gets left at the starting line. As you can see, Ellenberger leaving way too early. Not sure if he knew that or not. And then Fling comes roaring into the picture right there. Straight ride, a little bit off the right-hand side. It actually seems like the early part of the shutdown area might be going away, as final machine in the class is one we actually saw in the modified class. Robert Gallagher with a 959 cubic inch Pat Busey racing engine tuned by Ryan McCain. If you didn't catch our modified class coverage, I explained there that the normally aspirated version of this engine puts out about 1,800 horsepower. With the nitrous spritz that this car has, it's capable of nearly 3,000, anywhere between 27 and 2,800. This was his run earlier today in session number 1 in a modified class, and you can see he laid down quite a run there. 2.0694 for Gallagher, and you see he had a good reaction time, so this car is well capable of getting in the upper crust of this class here. Even without a blower, all that cubic inch will definitely put some horsepower to the ground, and this is one of the few classes that these modifieds can actually jump forward into. The only thing is the blower cars cannot go back into the modified class as no blowers are allowed. So we'll see what Gallagher can do here as he steps forward into the blower class with Black Mamba out of Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Fighting some handling problems that he's been fighting all year long. It looks like they may have caught up to him right there, but still got down the track with a legal run at a 2.3 and change. Not what he was looking for, but he did not go out of bounds, so he'll take a little bit more cash out of here before the weekend is over. He's got to be happy with that. One more look from the end zone, and you can see the car getting off to the right-hand side of the lane. Not as close to the poles and the cones as I thought he was. He might wipe out the timing lights. That is going to be an automatic disqualification, but he did not do that, so he's got to be feeling good about that right now. Again, he's got one more shot to get into the big money before the class is called for the night, but he is the last car to run before we re-rack him. We're going to run him in reverse order when we come back for session number 2. As we look at the standings right now, you can see Billy Fling up on top with that 1.8813 second run, and then the 1.9043 for Joel Coolidge, who ran the whole track all the way out the end. He actually had probably the wildest ride of the session, and then all the way down there at the bottom, it's going to be Greg Monsmith, who had a tough time getting down the track in the early part of session number 1. Now, this was not the only action going on here today, the dual fast track. We actually have a bog right here in front of the grandstands, and it sunk its fair share of machines. In fact, nobody has made it all the way through the pit as of yet, but everybody tried their hand. Some very interesting vehicles tried their hand at this pit. Some guys from right here in the region, they brought quite a fan base with them. The fans absolutely love this sticky, sloppy action up here in front of the grandstands, and as I said, a variety of vehicles, a variety of makes and models challenging this pit. We saw Fords, we've seen quite a few Chevys already. Here we saw a couple of Dodges, we saw Jeeps, we saw stock-looking pickups, we saw stripped-down pickups. But when I said we saw a little bit of everything, I mean we saw a little bit of everything. Check this out, Fordzilla. Big old lifted V8 powered Cadillac Eldorado. Almost made it to the end of the pit. In fact, a lot of people thought he had the best chance to make it here today. Unfortunately, though, he sunk about three-quarter track, but he dried out a big old chunk of that track. He actually found the bottom. He ran that car through there so long. We're not done yet, though. When we come back, we'll have more on the fast track, and we'll let you know if anybody makes it through the bog. Stay with us.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter.
Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo.
Gotta check it out. This week
are back. 143rd Transfer Harvest Home Fair here in Transfer, Pennsylvania, right near the Buckeye border as we get ready for session number 2 in the open class. And look who's rolling out. Billy Fling in reality check. As I mentioned, we reversed the order that the vehicles ran in session number 1. The only vehicle that's not going to apply to right now is Robert Gallagher, who has to run in 2 separate classes here this evening. So he's going to get a chance to let his vehicle cool down just a bit. He will come back at the end of the class just like he did in session number 1, but he'll still have to make a legal pass here in session number 2. And Fling, just like in session number 1, is alongside Dale Ellenberger. As we mentioned before, Fling with that 581 cubic inch Hemi. Going up alongside Dale Ellenberger with a 506 cubic inch Hemi. Whipple supercharger up on top. See his crew working with him there on the starting line, trying to make sure he's in good dirt. You want to be able to get that thing to stick. You don't want to blow the tires off. Here we go. Billy Fling out real quick. Ellenberger taking a ride there in the shutdown. Look at that. Billy Fling goes better than his own 188 and change. And Ellenberger now down in the sub 2 second range at the 196. So Fling will probably cement himself into that number 1 spot. We'll see if it holds. Again, Ellenberger almost got in trouble right there. There's no cone to mark the edge of that track. It's somewhere out there in the grass. But hopefully nobody ends up in that ditch. Look at that. Just bouncing over the razor edge of the little trench that runs through there. And again, the shutdown area isn't the most even spot. That's another man's property. Right when they hit that little bump there in the grass, they come off the end of the tilt part of the dirt. As there you see Joel Coolidge in Nightmare rolling out now in the left-hand lane. Greg Monsmith moves over to the right-hand side of the track, and that right-hand side has been giving these guys fits in the shutdown area. We'll see what Greg can do with it right here with that 520 Brad Anderson Hemi. 1871 Roots blower up on top of it. Again, we saw Greg set a track record down at Blown Alcohol Madness in Sanford, North Carolina. The event put on by the late, great Darryl Jones. And believe me, this sport misses Darryl quite a bit. Joel Coolidge now to Two Harbors, Minnesota, ran the faster of those 2 times in the first session. We see his son Tyler making sure his car is good, nice and tight as they move carefully into the staging beams. Beautiful pair of passes. Monsmith in trouble. He got way off of there. Look at that. Coolidge can't stop. He goes into the trees. Where is Joel Coolidge? We hear the engine still running. Pops right back out the other side. Coolidge with a walk in the woods runs a 1886. Monsmith with a 192. So the class is getting quicker, even though it would appear that parts of the track are going away. Let's watch it again. Look at that. Coolidge did that with the front end off the ground, and then Monsmith comes out of that lane as soon as he crosses through the timing lights, and man, did he get close to that knoll. You see that big black chunk of earth sticking up right there? If you hit that, you are in big time trouble. And look how close he got to our camera. Again, the little red light by the tree is our camera. Now, Joel Coolidge, you see the top of the intake there coming through the weeds. I don't know how he came real close to a big old oak tree that's in there. He missed it by a couple of inches, but man, that had to get the pulse rate up. Look at the rear end come off the ground. Again, just too much to watch in one run. If you've not seen these machines live, you've got to get out here and experience it when the MRA is in town. Now, Kevin Harrison in Never Enough set the early fast time with that Aussie-powered machine. Screw-blown 527 cubic inch Noonan race engine. He's going to go side by side with the Old Dominion driver driving the car owned by Mike and Peggy Donahue out of Summer Duck, Virginia. That is Paul Palmer in the show. Saw that machine getting a little bit of trouble down in Sanford, North Carolina. Picked up the front end and just spun the tires. So we know he can make horsepower. Can he get it to stick? Trying to get himself down in that sub 2 second range. Either of these guys could win the class, but can they make it stick? Boy, Harrison just went flying through there. Look at the rear end step out on Paul Palmer's machine. Palmer still in the 2 second range at 2:05, and Harrison, look at that, 189 and change. Both of them getting off the line very quickly, but again, unless you're going for the reaction time bonus, an extra $100, that reaction time ain't going to do you any good through the timing lights. The big money is made from the time you leave the starting line to the time you cross through those timing lights, and you don't have to leave on the green. Again, you're not racing each other, you're running the clocks. A lot of sparks out of the drivetrain here I'm noticing on the show. Not sure what that was, but man, both those guys, pretty good straight runs. Moving around just a bit in the lane there is Palmer, but he reeled it in very quickly. A good bit of driving there on the left-hand side of the screen and kept it right in the loam. Almost got out in that grass, but he gave himself plenty of distance to get it stopped as our last machine in the class rolls out. That's Robert Gallagher with the non-blower motor in the class, the 959 cubic inch Pat Busey motor. We'll get back to that in a second. While we were at break, a little bit early, we told you we'd keep you updated on what went on in the bog pit. Well, here is James Elwood from right here in the Keystone State in White Thunder. Not so white at the end of that run, but he was the only guy to clear the pit. 520 cubic inches going to work. Crowd absolutely loved it. Our congratulations to James for winning the class over here in the bog, the DOT class, and now we're back on the line. Again, 959 cubic inches of Pat Busey horsepower ready to go to work, nitrous injected machine, roughly 3,000 horsepower I'd say he's putting out, but again, he's had some handling problems that he's trying to get reeled in, and he just put the front end of this car back together. He is not quite certain it's how he wants it, but he better be certain that it's how he wants it, because that's an awful lot of speed to be carrying to have the front steering get away from you. We'll see though. Black Mamba laying down the final pass of the session. Let's see what Robert Gallagher can do. Robert out of Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Pretty good run, but no, not at all. Red light. I was going to say the run looked good, but he left too early. That is an unfortunate way for him to end the session here. Robert Gallagher not going to make the leaderboard, but look at that. Billy Fling flying down the track in reality check at a 187.42. Joel Coolidge getting up in there where Fling was. He's at a 188.6. Kevin Harrison at a 189. Representing the top three on the leaderboard. Then Greg Monsmith, Dale Ellenberger, and Paul Palmer, the only guy still in the 2 second category. He almost got down there in the sub 2 second range. Got another shot at the paddle tire class. These cars will be back tomorrow, and we are definitely not done from here in transfer. We have a slew of other classes still to go that you're not going to want to miss. That includes Heads Up Racing from the Superstocks division. You're not going to want to miss that. Keep it here at Back Channel Productions for all the action from here in Transfer, Pennsylvania with the MRA, and plenty of other things to come your way continuing on in 2021. Thanks for joining us. Our congratulations to Billy Fling and Reality Check for winning the class. We will see you next time.